The massive alien warship appeared without warning in Earth's orbit, its crystalline hull refracting sunlight into 1,000 prismatic shards. Admiral Thea Blackwood stood on the bridge of the UES Hyperion, her weathered hands clasped behind her back as she studied the tactical display. The vessel belonged to the Crixians, a warrior race known for their biological weapons and ruthless conquest of dozens of worlds. Their broadcasting, Admiral Lieutenant Ravi Patil announced from his communication station. System-wide. The holographic display flickered to life, revealing the towering form of Supreme Commander Zixtal. His translucent skin pulsed with bioluminescent patterns, a sign of extreme confidence among his species. People of Earth, the alien's voice resonated through the command center. Your planet has been selected for ascension. Our greatest achievement, a hydrocatalyst, will cleanse your world and remake it in our image. Resistance is futile. Accept your transformation with dignity. The transmission cut off abruptly. Before anyone could react, dozens of silvery pods ejected from the Crixian vessel, burning through Earth's atmosphere like falling stars. Impact sites detected across all major population centers, reported Commander Jun Park from Tactical. The pods are dissolving. They're releasing some kind of liquid into the water supply. Blackwood's jaw tightened. What are we dealing with, Science Officer? Dr. Nikolay Volkov studied the incoming data streams, his cybernetic eye whirring as it processed the information. It appears to be a highly advanced molecular restructuring agent. The liquid bonds with H2O molecules and reprograms organic matter at the cellular level. Based on data from other conquered worlds, exposure typically results in complete genetic transformation within hours. How many casualties so far? Blackwood demanded. That's strange, Volkov muttered. No casualties reported. In fact, we're getting unusual readings from the impact sites. The affected populations aren't showing signs of transformation. They're metabolizing the agent. Reports began flooding in from around the globe. In New Delhi, children were collecting the iridescent liquid in cups, fascinated by its shifting colors. In Rio de Janeiro, street vendors were already selling alien juice to curious customers. In Tokyo, scientists were reporting that the substance had properties similar to several popular sports drinks. Impossible. Zixtal's voice boomed across the communications channel again. The hydrocatalyst is the most potent biological weapon ever created. How are you resisting? Blackwood allowed herself a small smile as understanding dawned. Humanity's greatest strength had always been its adaptability. Centuries of consuming artificial preservatives, processed foods, and chemical additives had rendered human biology incredibly resilient to foreign substances. Admiral Volkov called out, excitement evident in his voice. Initial analysis shows the hydrocatalyst is actually enhancing human cellular regeneration. It's like our bodies are treating it as a performance supplement. The Crixian warship hung motionless in orbit, its commander presumably struggling to comprehend this unprecedented failure. Humanity hadn't just survived their ultimate weapon. They were thriving on it. Open a channel, Blackwood ordered. When Zixtal's confused face appeared, she allowed herself a predatory grin. Supreme Commander, I believe we should discuss terms. But first, my people have a few questions about mass production rights for your weapon. We have some ideas for the sports drink market. As the alien leader sputtered in disbelief, Blackwood reflected on the irony. The Crixians had spent centuries perfecting their ultimate biological weapon, only to accidentally create humanity's newest favored beverage. It wasn't the first time human adaptability had turned a potential apocalypse into an opportunity, and it certainly wouldn't be the last. In the weeks following the failed hydrocatalyst attack, Earth's scientific community worked around the clock to understand humanity's surprising immunity. At the Global Defense Research Institute in Geneva, Dr. Isabella Torres led the investigation. Her lab transformed into a maze of holographic displays and quantum analyzers. The results are fascinating, she explained to the assembled military leaders. The Crixian weapon was designed to rewrite DNA, but human genetic adaptability is far more advanced than they anticipated. We've identified a unique protein sequence in our cells that doesn't just resist the transformation. It actively incorporates beneficial aspects of the catalyst. General Marcus Way leaned forward, his augmented eyes focusing on the molecular models floating above the conference table. Can we weaponize this advantage? Before Torres could respond, alarms blared throughout the facility. Lieutenant Patel's voice crackled over the intercom. Multiple Crixian vessels detected entering the solar system. They're different from the first wave. Heavily modified biosuits detected on board. The Crixians had returned, but this time they came prepared. Their ships bristled with organic technology, their hulls alive with bioluminescent patterns. Supreme Commander Zixtel's face appeared on every screen worldwide, his translucent skin now darker, modified. "You thought you could humiliate us," he snarled. "We've adapted our own biology. The new hydrocatalyst will not fail. Your resistance was impressive, but ultimately futile." Dr. Torres rushed to her lab, where samples of the original catalyst were still under observation. What she saw made her pause. The human test subjects weren't just resistant anymore. They were evolving. The first sign came from Rio de Janeiro. Street vendor Joao Silveira, who had been drinking the alien juice daily, discovered he could breathe underwater. In Mumbai, teenager Priya Patel found she could communicate with plants. Across the globe, humans exposed to the catalyst were developing abilities the Crixians never intended. "They don't understand," Torres whispered, reviewing the data. "Human adaptability isn't just defensive. It's opportunistic. We're not just surviving their weapon. We're claiming it, improving it, making it our own." The Crixian fleet launched their attack, deploying the enhanced catalyst across Earth's atmosphere. They expected surrender. Instead, they witnessed transformation, not of humans into Crixian slaves, but of humanity into something entirely new. As millions of altered humans demonstrated unprecedented abilities, Dr. Torres made a breakthrough. "The catalyst doesn't just change biology," she announced to the Emergency Council. "It responds to intention. The Crixians wanted conquest, so it became a weapon. We wanted survival, so it became an enhancement. And now," she paused, letting the implications sink in, "now we can make it whatever we want it to be." In orbit, the Crixian ships held position, waiting for their weapon to take effect. They didn't realize that every drop of the enhanced catalyst was being actively reshaped by humanity's collective will, turning their doomsday weapon into the key to human transcendence. The stage was set for a confrontation unlike anything either species had imagined. Humanity wasn't just fighting back. They were about to show the Crixians what true evolution looked like. The transformation of Earth's population progressed rapidly. In the secure bunker beneath GDRI headquarters, Admiral Blackwood watched footage of humans, demonstrating abilities that defied conventional science. Commander Park had developed precognitive abilities that let him calculate enemy movements minutes before they occurred. Lieutenant Patel could now interface directly with any communication system, his consciousness flowing through the digital networks. "We're ready for Phase 3, Dr. Torres announced, entering the command center. Her own transformation had given her unprecedented insight into molecular biology. The catalyst has been completely reprogrammed. Every human who consumes it now gains abilities that complement their natural talents." The Crixian fleet remained in orbit, their initial confidence replaced by growing concern. Their scans showed Earth's population wasn't just resisting the enhanced catalyst, they were reshaping it into something new. "Supreme Commander," Blackwood broadcasted, her voice steady. "You gave us the tools for our evolution. Now let us show you what humanity does with such gifts." Across the planet, transformed humans began executing a coordinated response. In the Pacific, naval officers who had developed hydrokinetic abilities created massive waves that buffeted the alien ships. From the ground, others projected electromagnetic pulses that disrupted the Crixians' organic technology. The alien fleet launched desperate counterattacks, deploying waves of their strongest catalyst variants. But each new attempt was met with stronger resistance as humanity's collective adaptability grew exponentially. The more the Crixians escalated, the more powerful humans became. Dr. Torres made another breakthrough in her analysis. The catalyst doesn't just transform individuals, she explained to the War Council. It's creating a kind of collective evolutionary network. Each person's adaptation strengthens the whole species. Zixtal's final transmission betrayed his growing fear. What are you becoming? Admiral Blackwood's response was simple. What we were always meant to be. The unified human consciousness, linked through the adapted catalyst, reached out to the Crixian ships. In that moment, the aliens realized their mistake. They hadn't found a species to conquer. They had inadvertently awakened one that had been waiting millennia for the right catalyst to trigger its true potential. As Earth's transformed defenders prepared for their counterattack, one thing became clear. The galaxy's most feared weapon had become humanity's greatest gift. The only question remaining was whether the Crixians would survive seeing their creation turned against them. The transformed human fleet approached the Crixian homeworld, their ships now partially organic, enhanced by the modified catalyst. Admiral Blackwood stood on the bridge of the UES Hyperion, her consciousness linked to every vessel in the Armada through the collective network. Their orbital defenses are activating, Commander Park reported, his precognitive abilities mapping out potential battle scenarios. They've weaponized their entire atmosphere with the original catalyst. Dr. Torres's voice resonated through the neural link. They don't realize their defensive catalyst will only make us stronger. Each variant they deploy adds to our adaptability. The Crixian defense fleet emerged from behind their planet's rings, their ships larger and more heavily modified than before. Supreme Commander Zixtal's flagship led the formation, its hull writhing with organic weapons. Last chance for surrender, Blackwood transmitted. We don't seek destruction, only understanding. The response came in the form of a massive catalyst wave, designed to transform everything in its path. But as it reached the human fleet, something unprecedented occurred. The wave didn't just fail, it reversed direction, carrying humanity's modifications back to its source. Panic spread through the Crixian ranks as their own weapon began transforming their ships, their technology, their very beings. What they had intended as a final defense became the vehicle of their own evolution. They're experiencing what we did, Torres observed, but they're fighting it instead of embracing it. Their rigid biological structure can't handle the rapid adaptation. Blackwood watched as the Crixian fleet struggled against the change. Open a channel to all their frequencies. They need to understand what's happening before it's too late. Through the collective network, humanity shared their experience, the fear, the acceptance, the transcendence. They showed the Crixians how to ride the wave of change instead of drowning in it. Some Crixian ships began to stand down as their crews chose adaptation over destruction. Others, led by Zixtal's flagship, continued to resist, their organic technology becoming increasingly unstable. As the battle reached its climax, the choice became clear: evolution or extinction. The galaxy watched to see which path the Crixians would choose. The final confrontation took place in the upper atmosphere of the Crixian homeworld. Supreme Commander Zixtal's flagship, now a twisted mass of unstable organic technology, faced the transformed human fleet. The modified catalyst had spread throughout the planet's ecosystem, offering the same choice to every Crixian: adapt or perish. Your civilization ends today, Zixtal transmitted, his voice distorted by failing systems. We would rather die than become, whatever you are. Admiral Blackwood shared a knowing look with her crew. Through their collective consciousness, they felt the changes rippling through Crixian society. Despite their leaders' resistance, millions of civilians were embracing the transformation, their rigid biological structures evolving into something more fluid, more adaptable. Dr. Torres monitored the planetary changes from her lab. The catalyst is rewriting their entire biosphere. Those who accept it are achieving the symbiosis we never imagined possible. They're not becoming human. They're becoming something entirely new. The resistance crumbled as Zixtal's remaining allies witnessed their people's voluntary transformation. The Supreme Commander's flagship, corrupted by his desperate attempts to weaponize the catalyst further, began to disintegrate. "You don't understand," Blackwood transmitted to Zixtal. "This isn't an ending. It's an evolution. Your weapon didn't just change humanity. It gave us the power to guide change itself. Now we offer that same gift to you." As the flagship's systems failed, Blackwood ordered a rescue operation. Even those who had tried to destroy humanity deserved the chance to evolve. Teams of transformed humans, their bodies now capable of surviving the harsh conditions of space without suits, reached the dying vessel. They found Zixtal in his command center, his body fighting against the changes the catalyst demanded. Through their shared consciousness, they showed